Welcome to another edition of the Goalpost. I'm your host, Oluwamaiwa. It's a TGIF edition, and I have, Solomon and Temdolua making the return. Temdolua has been on holiday for a while. We were talking before the show started, and he said, I thought maybe he was a Ronaldo fan. He said, no, he's not a Ronaldo fan. Maybe he's going to tell us who is his GOAT now, in quote now. I know Solomon is a diehard Ronaldo fan. I hope they don't get into it again on this edition. But it's always amazing having you guys. Solomon, how are you doing this morning?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Temilo, how are
thank
you
you for
doing this
having
morning?
me. Thank you for having me.
Solomon, Temilolua is back on here. He said he's not a fan of, it's not, Ronaldo is not his GOAT, but probably we'll get into that. Before we kickstart, before we get into the thick of things, you guys watched the semi-finals, and briefly, what will be your take before we get into the World Cup proper? I will start with Temilolua. You watched the semi-finals, and what was your take, especially the game between Argentina and England?
Oh, the semi-finals were unique actually. It was very, very interesting. And my prediction for the match against Spain and France, I told a friend that I see Spain beating France because France don't play calm football. You understand? They play direct football. And when you want to play Spain, you also have to put the ball on the ground and play. And the game against Argentina, fantastic, fantastic football. Wonderful performance from the greatest of all time. You understand? He just came on board to show us that yes, he can still do it again. You understand? So it was a wonderful performance. England gave us an Egypt. You understand? They gave us an Egypt performance, and people said, well, Argentina only came back against Egypt. They cannot do it against top tier country, and they did it against England. Thomas Tuchel, I don't know. I'm not even a fan of his appointment as England manager, as an England coach. I do not enjoy the way England play. They just rely on Bellingham and Harry Kane. You understand? So it was an interesting game of football. You understand? When you watch Messi play, you know that yes, this is not just an ordinary footballer. You understand? And it popped up everywhere. Came up with 2 assists. Fantastic performance. And for England, it's just back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board for them. You understand? Where do they go from here? Because this has been the routine: getting to semi-finals and being knocked out, getting to finals and being knocked out. When do they now have that extra edge to go for? So the semi-finals were interesting. Argentina surprised us, you understand, because nobody expected that they would stage a comeback against an English side. But when you have the greatest of all time on your team, you just expect greatness, you understand, from time to time. Thank you.
Okay. So Solomon, before we get into the thick of things, just a quick insight on the semi-finals, especially the England Argentina game.
Oh well, Spain France it was just a tactical masterclass from De La Fuente. I I I think on both matches, right? You could tell that Deschamps and Tuchel they just got it wrong at a particular point in time, and afterwards they just could not proceed. And when we talk about, I'm going to go club side now just for a bit. Let me just delve into that for a bit. When we talk about the quality of Arsenal players, people think it's just, oh, it's because you're an Arsenal fan, yada yada yada. Just watch how France defense crumbled after Saliba was injured, right? If you watch the second goal that Spain scored, Lacroix, the Crystal Palace defender, he was easily drawn out. And that's the calmness that Saliba brings to the back, right? That guy was easily drawn out from position, and he made it easy for Spain to score that second goal, right? And again, as I said, it was just a tactical masterclass. Rodri, that midfield, it was completely overtaken by Spain, and France had no answer to what was going on in that midfield. And because they had no answer to what was going on in the midfield, it was impossible for Mbappe and the forward players to do anything. Now, when we talk about the Argentina match, I was, you could tell that I was obviously pissed off after the match, right? But then again, that is just the emotions of the match immediately after the match. But when you go back you calm down, you go back, you watch the match again, and then you begin to see what happened. Tuchel at a point was very brave, to have continued to defend. Just that, that's what I'm saying. It was very brave to have continued to defend. But after the hydration break, brother, do something. It was after the hydration break where I felt like he should have brought on attackers that would ensure that, yes, we know very well that Argentina are piling pressure on us. What happens when we get a goal kick? What happens when we have maybe a free kick from you just what I'm saying, when we have a free kick, maybe even maybe at the edge of our box, we still can get a free kick because of the way that Argentina was piling on us. Why exactly did you not bring on attackers at that point in time after the hydration break to tell or to send a message to Argentina that it's not just enough that we are defending, we also can attack you. When you see these players that we have on the pitch, we also can attack you. It was after I had gone 2-1 down that I now brought on, what's it called? Rashford and Ivan Toney. So again, it's just at some point the coaches not getting their substitutions right, and I think that costs both what's it called now, both France and England their tickets to the finals. But take nothing away from Spain and Argentina. These are trained, well coached guys, and they also have the discipline to play to the very end. It's that discipline that matters. That discipline that the Spanish team have in their midfield, and even Cucurella was booked in the first half, and he still went ahead to finish that game, which means that Olise Dembele, they had nothing on him. You see that they had nothing on him, and also in Argentina's match, Lisandro Martinez and Romero were also yellow carded, but England just had nothing on them, and the results is there for us to see. I'm sure we'll go fully into it later on in the show.
Okay, and that's fantastic. As we usually do, let's start from the local scene. I mean, Nwabali has been in the news for a couple of weeks now. Remember, he terminated his contract with Chippa United and he left. There were news about Black Leopard of Tanzania wanting to bring him in, but that deal fell through. However, the good news is that Nwabali is back with Chippa United. According to his agent came out to say that he decided not to make any rush, and that was the reason why he took an hiatus from football. He decided to, stay away. However, the big question is this, and I will start with Temlolua. Do you think Nwabali's gamble did not pay off? Because, I mean, if the deal with Black Leopards of Tanzania had gone through, he would have joined the Tanzania club. If the deal from other smaller European teams have materialized, he would have joined those people. A whole lot of people said, it's because of the mental situation, because of his mental health. He lost his parents, he lost three very close people to him, you know, before all this, and this affected, his performance and the rest of it. However, he was part of the Nations Cup, and it was after the Nations Cup that he decided to terminate his contract with Chippa United. Do you think this was more of a gamble, or it was actually because, of what he was going through mentally?
Okay, so I have a problem with Nigerian players, with most Nigerian players. You see, as a footballer, even though I didn't make it pro, you understand, but as a footballer, there's something they call something I understand about investing in yourself. You understand? Now, what do I mean by investing in yourself? It's about getting the right people that will market you well. You
Mm.
understand? It's about getting the right people. Yes, we can talk about his mental health. Yes, we can talk about that. Yes, those are not what will market you. Your agent is who will market you. You understand? So now the question now is, if we have Nwabali as the first choice goalkeeper in Super Eagles, I don't think he should be short of suitors. Now let's go
Mm.
back a bit. When we brought Enyama to the national team, he was playing in Israel League. You understand? He was playing in Israel. And due to his performance for the Super Eagles and the likes, he aimed a move to Lille in France.
True.
I hope you can remember. The same thing too with Ejide. Ejide was playing for Israeli League. You understand his performance in the Super Eagles, even though he was back up to Yama, still earned him a move. I don't know if you are getting it now. So there's something about the role of investment in oneself. And this is
Hmm.
why we can see an Akko Adams moving from Sevilla to Venezia, a newly promoted side. You are moving from the Europa League juggernaut to I don't know if you are getting my picture now. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
we can play the card and say his mental health, he lost some of his loved ones, you understand, which can affect him, but it is not supposed to affect his move. It can affect
Hmm.
his performance, but not his move. His agents are the ones that I'm surprised that I'm even hearing him being linked to a team in Tanzania. You are the goalkeeper of the Super Eagles, the first choice goalkeeper of Super Eagles, and you are being linked to a move to Tanzania, where we have Saudi Arabia. You understand? Where we have Qatar. You understand? Where we have even if it's the even if it's the middle class or low class of Europe. You understand? So there are areas you can go. See, okay, look, let's put this Cape Verde goalkeeper now into consideration. Voladin Wabi, I've forgotten his name.
Vozinha.
Now, hey, that's Cape Verde goalkeeper that is 40 years old. Imagine
Edgar
he's
Vozinha.
being linked with a move. Okay,
Yeah.
imagine he's being linked with a move to Brazil League.
Hmm.
Are you getting what I'm saying now? Just the same way send him a move, at least a link to Brazil League because he has agents that can do the job. Nigerians don't invest in agency. You understand? If you can take it back to our Nigerian league, sorry I'm digressing a bit. Our Nigerian league, we had people like Sunday Ode, Stephen Ode. You understand? Fantastic striker. What broke the deal? Was about to join Celtic, and all of a sudden his father said, "Don't worry, I'll take the deal from here." And then the deal broke off. So they don't
Hmm.
invest in agency. You understand? So yes, you can be good. You can be very good. You understand? But you need a very good agent. You can even be very bad and a good agent to market you. I can remember Cristiano Ronaldo buying an island for Jorge Mendes. You understand it? Regardless of how critical the case want to be for Ronaldo, he always finds a club for him. You understand? Same thing too goes with Jose Mourinho. Yes, Jose Mourinho keeps getting sacked everywhere, but guess what? He's still getting the job. You understand? So it's not just about performance, now it's about the agency. Our Nigerian players don't invest in agency. I'm surprised it's going back to Chippa. And I can tell you, they'll even be paying him cheaper there. You understand? Because they know that, yes, you've obviously been out of. Of course, that's just the reality of it. You understand? I'm sure it's not earning the same amount he's earning before. Because they know that, yes, you've been off job for many months. No club wants you. And then you are coming back to us. Okay, you are coming back to us on our terms. You
Hmm.
understand? So that's just it. Yes, we understand that he went through a lot of process, but I think leave business to those that know how to handle business. When I look at the transfer market, seeing moves that Nigeria players are making, it just breaks my heart to see somebody like to be let's be factual on this. Somebody like Kevin Bassey should not, no disrespect to Fulham, but somebody like Kevin Bassey should be making a move away from Fulham.
Hmm.
You understand? Somebody like Kevin Bassey should be making move away from Fulham. We can see Benjamin Frederick being promoted from the under 20s to the first team in Brentford. You understand that? Make that kind of progress or growth. You understand? Not that yes, I know they are into football. You understand? To make money, money is paramount. You understand? But then you need to invest. You understand? To reap you get return on investment. So for Nwabali, I'm happy for him that he has gotten the club. You understand? But I can tell him for free that is not a guarantee that he's going to be the first choice goalkeeper for the Super Eagles. You understand? It is not just about getting the club, it's about getting the right club. You
Hmm.
understand? So you cannot go back to Chippa after many months and expect to still be the first choice of Super Eagles. I think they need to remind him. You understand? Because you can see Maduka Okoye now being linked to top clubs. You understand? You can see Otto Okonkwo, he is in the Premier League. You get me? So going back to Chippa, maybe somebody is telling him that don't worry, join any club. You understand? You will still remain. No, 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 it doesn't work that way. You understand? If you've been the first choice of the Super Eagles, you need to have that breakthrough or breakout transfer. And once it is not coming, So that's just that on that. I think they just need to invest better, you understand, in agency. You get, it's good that he has joined Chippa. At least he's not clubless now. He has a club, but then it's not enough, you understand, to be invited to the Super Eagles. I might be wrong, but for me, it is not enough to be invited to the Super Eagles. Thank you.
Okay, and that's fantastic. So Solomon, Temilolo has said a whole lot of things, and I've said this on different platforms. Somebody once labeled me and Osimhen hater. I don't believe in Nigerian players and just that. But Temilolo has echoed what we have seen play out with Nigerian players. Ako Adams leaving a Europa League tested club to Venezia does not make any logical sense. Osimhen, one of the agents, complained about Osimhen because Osimhen failed to invest in agency, like Temilolo rightly said, and that's the reason why Osimhen is languishing in Turkey. He couldn't get top agents to do the bidding for him. If anybody will ask you now who is the agent of Osimhen, you'll probably be scratching your head and be wondering what's going on. Is that the situation with Nwabali? Or what do you make of this Nwabali situation? Because I think I want to toe the line of Temilolo, because I've seen this play out over and over again. Players that are not as talented as our own Super Eagles, they get bigger deals. Our own guys that are even very, very good, African Footballer of the Year, is languishing in Turkey. What do you make of all of this, Solomon?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Mr. Temia said. The marketing aspect of our football is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The quality of players that we have, I think in recent years, maybe only Ademola Lookman has made that very good move, going from Atalanta to Atletico Madrid, right? In terms of the caliber or the top tier clubs that our players are supposed to be at, I don't think that I can't think of anyone right now that has actually made such, great move. I'm thinking about it right now, and I can't see anyone. I might be wrong too. I'm thinking about it right now, and I can't think of anyone at the moment, bar Ademola Lookman that I just made mention of. Right, when I saw the news that he has gone back to Chippa United, I just shook my head, man. I shook my head. I mean, I'm like, so why did you leave in the first place? Because it was not a case of why did you leave in the first place? What exactly was what was the background? What was going on at the time that made you leave? If you left at the time, then it meant that you did not want to come back. And Nwabali is 30. Nwabali is 30,
True.
right? That means give or take. I don't know. He's not in a country like Cape Verde that will carry a 40-year-old goalkeeper to the World Cup. Let's be honest. You won't carry a 40-year-old goalkeeper to the World Cup in Nigeria when you have very young goalkeepers that are also blazing the trail in their respective clubs, right? You won't. So, in terms of man management or player management with the agency, we have not gotten it right in Nigeria. We have not. It is, I know people would say, I think at some point with the Osimhen transfer saga and all of that, people were saying, oh, it is attitude, it is yada yada yada. But I also think that it's also a case of agency. So it's also a case of agency. Osimhen is top 5 strikers in the world. Top 5. Top 5 strikers in the world. This is the reason why it is even much more painful that Nigeria did not qualify for the World Cup. It's very, very painful. This is one of the reasons why it's very, very painful that Nigeria did not qualify for the World Cup. If Nigeria had qualified for the World Cup, of course we get to see the best of the best. This is the tournament that matters the most. People who do not turn into club football, they turn into World Cup. They turn into the World Cup. Do you understand what I'm saying? They turn into the World Cup. But just look at what we're doing with the country. Alex Iwobi is now is now a sports analyst. Is that the way to go? Is that the way to go? The top of the cream de la cream of players are making it in the World Cup. We were here, we are just doing anyhow. I know we're talking about agents, but this is part of it. It's part of this. There's a line to it. They're all in alignment. You're not playing at the best at the best tournaments ever. How exactly do you want to get the moves to the top clubs? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. We have cases of players who moved from World Cup, who were standout players at the World Cup, and they got top clubs. Amis Rodriguez, Enzo Fernandez, Kylian Mbappe. We have them like that. Juan Cuadrado of Colombia, players who turned up at the World Cup and went to great clubs. And yes, the agency obviously has a lot of, it's just ridiculous what we do with our players in Nigeria. Really ridiculous. We do not have. It boils down, that thing we talked about at the last show about the people who are running, the NFF, right? We do not have football conscious expatriates. We don't. And I'm not talking about people who are just playing the game. I'm talking about people who understand the business side, the management side of the game.
But Solomon, the question is this. As a player, are you not supposed to invest in your own image? I'll give a typical example. I'm usually on a platform, and one of the hosts of that particular platform is an inner circle member of Osimhen. Everything that has to do with Osimhen transfer is being handled by him, by people he has selected, people he can control, not people that can talk to him, not people that can help him launder his image. That is not the responsibility of the FA. That is the responsibility of the player. Temilolu make a typical example the other time. Ronaldo bought an island for George Mendes. Do you think that kind of super agent would allow Ronaldo go to any place, will not fight for Ronaldo in the big club? That's number two. These players, they have super agents. How many Nigerian players have super agents? Is it because they are greedy with the money? Because these super agents, they cost money, but they will get you the best. So I don't know, maybe you see it that way. I don't think this has to do with the FA, this has to do with the player.
I'm with you. First off, the first question you asked about investing in yourself, that is highly important. As a player, you need to constantly reinvent yourself, and that's very, very important. Before, there was no talk about ball playing goalkeepers. There was never a thing like that before. But now we have things like that. So if you cannot keep up with the pace of the game, you have to constantly reinvent yourself. And reinventing yourself also means reinventing your style of play, also means reinventing your public image. These things go hand in hand, right? And I am all for, investing in yourself and whatnot. But bear in mind, and I mean no disrespect, bear in mind that quite a number of these players are coming from poverty. That is the truth. Quite a number of those players are coming from poverty. So you do not expect someone who has lived in a one-room apartment with 10 siblings, they've eaten only once in a day, eventually have that breakout, and you do not expect them to, they will take whatever it is that is handed over to them.
Mr. Solomon, can I cut in?
Go
Yeah,
on.
please go ahead.
Okay, so there's a transfer that just went on now. A player called Matheus Fernandes, who moved from West Ham United to
Okay.
Tottenham Hotspur. He was supposed to join Manchester United, but then something happened in between. Now, what happened was money. You understand? As an agent, you understand, the agent to ask the player, what do you want? Do you want to build a proper career in a big club, or you want to earn in a small club? They give you the options. I didn't make it pro, but I was at least able to meet one or two agents. So now the question now is that, you see, it still falls down to players. Because if you invest properly in a good agent, you understand, you wouldn't be making move from Sevilla to Venezia. See, I don't know how you want to paint it. You understand? Akpo Adam is a starting striker for the Super Eagles.
Yes.
You understand it now?
And I was going
So
to
I
come there.
don't know why you be making a move from Sevilla to Venezia. You understand? So see, like I said, a player can be very bad. A player can be very terrible. But if you have a good agent, you understand? Agents will sell your market. You understand? Agent to say your man, there's not how you want to be. In as much as you can kick ball. You understand me now? So there is if you have a good agent, I understand the fact that you are saying they came from poverty, they came from this, they came from that. Same thing too with the Brazilian players, same thing too with the South American players. You understand? But they are making these big moves. But when it comes to Nigeria now, we are struggling to make because of our agent or something. I don't know. I might be wrong in case of agent, but I don't know. I don't know why we are not making that yes, they tried. Yes, and because Osimhen is earning a lot of money in Galatasaray and the likes. I think out of all the old transfers, just Lookman and Osimhen transfer is, I think, fair enough. But aside that, all that you are starting. I think it's gotten to the point where Iwobi should even be in Fulham again. I mean, am I the only one thinking in this direction? Because playing for the Super Eagles open doors for you. That's what I believe. You understand? It opens doors for you. Legitimately, it opens doors for you playing for the Super Eagles. And we've seen it over time with the likes of Ejide. You understand? With the likes of Echijele, who moved to Celtic. You understand? Because he was playing for the Super Eagles left back. You understand? So, Super Eagles, it opens doors for you. So, I'm just same thing too with Ahmed Musa, who ended the move to Leicester City back in the year after the World Cup. You understand? That end the move to Leicester City. You understand? To replace Vardy or whoever, I don't know. I think to replace Okazaki or so that left. You understand? So the Super Eagles open door for you. You get, so it's not left to you to, yes, see, only if footballers want to deceive you. One of the core things of playing football is to earn money. You understand? Now that they are saying it's passion, yes, it's passion. They are passionate about making money. That's just the bitter truth. You understand? But then it should not now deter you from making some kind of move. You understand? Omo. This
You are making my point for me because when I say that they've come from poverty, do you understand what I'm saying? It is the reason why they will obviously not want to quote and unquote invest in top agents, right? And just to an extent, you ask the question yourself: do you want to earn little in a top club, or do you want to earn more in a small club? Of course, it's the money. I watched an interview of what's his name now, Oscar, the Brazilian player, right? The
Yeah.
Brazilian player. He says that when China came calling, he could not sleep for 2 nights because the money was a lot. Because the money was a lot. It's the same thing.
now,
I literally understand what you're saying. Hold on.
sorry,
I'm
Mr.
coming.
Solomon, let me cut in.
Hold on.
The problem with Nigeria is that they go to a small club to aim small. They don't go to a small club to aim big. The last set of people that went to another club to aim big were the likes of Obafemi Martins and Odion Igalo that went to China to go and aim big. Aside that, imagine moving from Sevilla to Venezia.
Please ask me. I keep scratching my
How
head.
much can Sevilla Venezia afford to pay him? You understand? You are moving from Sevilla to Venezia. Venezia, a newly promoted side. How much can they pay you?
I was shocked
You
with the
understand?
move
So
as well.
that's why I brought that comparison that if you are going for a small club, that small club should pay you. See our
Well,
first choice goalkeeper now, going back to Chippa. Like I said, they'll pay him cheaper. They cannot just wait.
Sorry,
Sorry
Solomon,
for
go ahead.
intruding you, Mr. Solomon. Go ahead. The floor is
Go
yours.
ahead.
As I said, you are simply making the point for me. I kid you not. We are on the same wavelength because when I saw the news that Akpo Adams was going to Venezia, I was dazed. I had to go and look up Venezia. I needed to look them up, and I just realized that they just got promotion into the first league of SerieA. I was shocked, right? You were in Sevilla. Even though maybe, for instance, you're not getting goals in every match, but at some point, Akpo Adams was scoring. I mean, after the AFCON, he still went back and was scoring goals. Oh. He was scoring
True.
goals. So, why in heaven's name did you make that move from Sevilla to Venezia? Like, it's a downgrade. And it's baffling. It's not just baffling, but it's also worrisome. What exactly is happening? What exactly is going on? Again, as I said, I genuinely still think that it's money related. I genuinely still think that it's money related. I can't wrap my head around why you would want to leave. Because now, here's the thing. Sevilla affords you not just a top tier competition to play in, it affords you a level of media perception, it affords you a level of imagery that Venezia cannot give to you.
True.
The only thing that will probably happen with Venezia is if you do a Fabregas and you get to the top four like Como. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's going to be difficult. There's a huge possibility now that this Venezia team will be relegated in that Serie A. Where are you going to?
True.
Where are you going to? Where are you going to? So, to be honest, I know that there are a lot of varying factors when it comes to players making the decisions and whatnot. But with the Nigerian players, I cannot but think that money is a huge factor. And I've said it before. I said that people. Let me tell you something. Poverty is it rids you of options. It rids you of the opportunity to be able to make the decisions on your own terms. On your own terms. Because now, for instance, another thing that we might need to touch on is black tax. It's black tax. Do you know how many people will be dependent on that one player that has made it? How many people are dependent on that one player that has made it? Do you know how many people he's catering for? Mikel Obi, for instance, when he made it, do you know the number of buses that Mikel Obi bought for his father, that he went into the transport business? I even learned that he opened a musical studio for his younger brother. I don't think that one has blown since that time, Sha. Black tax is real. Because another thing is, let me tell you something. Another thing is, the poverty that we have in this country, right, is systematic. Is highly systematic. And the thing that happens is that once one person has made it, to an extent, except you rid yourself of that mindset, some people will believe that they've also made it. That's siblings, family members, cousins. That is when you will see the uncle of your auntie that gave birth to your cousin that you did not know the grandfather or the grandmother. That's the reason why players will make these moves. That is why. That's why they will make these moves. Because eventually, they only play football at a top level for a number of years. For a number of years. When they stop playing football, how many of them have the ability to reinvent themselves like a Mikel Obi? How many of them, if that is the reason, sorry, that is why they are doing sporty bet ambassadors. Bet Nigeria, one next bet, because they do not have any other thing again. You don't look, for instance, I'll give you a very good example. The Italian team, we have old players coming back to try as much as possible to take the team back to the level that it used to be. And you might fault them. You might say, oh, they've not qualified for the World Cup back to back, but they won the Euros 2021. That's just 5 years ago. Nigeria, we have gotten to the finals back to back. We've still not won it. We've still not won the Nations Cup. We haven't. So these players, obviously, money is a huge factor. And they know very well that once they are done playing football, there is a lot of, gap between what they will get afterwards, if they ever get anything again, and what they are earning now. So they need to rack up the money that they can rack up now. So I genuinely think that that's the reason why these players are making these moves. I don't think we don't lack the talent, obviously not. We don't lack the quality, obviously not. It can never be. It can never be. But then again, it's just really sad to see. Really, really sad to see. Our players, our top players are not playing in top clubs. It's sad. Very, very sad. Because even players that are nowhere near the level of our players, come on now.